Hey, Sam. Hey, have you ever thought about what dreams reveal about death and grief? Even the soul, maybe? In this episode, we get a chance to talk to and explore, really, fascinating connection between dreams and the experience of loss and death. We've had many people report vivid dreaming after someone died, but we might wonder what those dreams actually mean. Are they simply the mind processing grief, or could they offer something deeper?
I think they probably offer something deeper, is my inkling and
Pretty good
experience.
chance.
On this episode, we're joined by dream worker and facilitator Lynn Diagonales for a really well-rounded and open conversation about dream work, spirituality, and how dreams can support emotional healing. We'll explore what dreams about death might really mean, how
Yeah,
dreams can help you process grief and loss, whether dreams can connect us to the soul or something beyond, maybe, and how to begin working with our own dreams in a simple, meaningful way. I always welcome practical
yeah,
solutions.
yeah,
If you've ever had a dream that lingered or wondered if dreams can carry deeper meanings during times of loss, especially, this conversation hopefully offers a thoughtful place to begin. So, welcome and stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming back and sitting with us in our conversations. I am the Reverend Mother Ana Luisa Armendariz. On today's episode, we are looking forward to speaking with Lynn Diagonales. Lynn is a dream worker, improviser, and facilitator currently based in Taos, New Mexico. Lynn has spent the last 13 years devoted to the dream world, exploring a wide range of dreamwork practices and experimenting with grounding the dream world's teachings through trial and error, embodiment, expressive arts, and recently, birthwork.
Mm, mm. I'm the Reverend Wakil David Matthews. It's really great to be with you all today, and really happy to have Lynn with us. Lynn's life work has been shaped by many threads, including theatrical exploration, depth psychology, two very prevalent arenas of their home city in Buenos Aires, Argentina, where the dreamy lilac waters of the Mayu, or Rio de la Plata, have long whispered their own medicine. I love that. That's very poetic.
That is so beautiful.
Very well
Wow.
said. Yeah. So very glad to have you. Thank you for coming and
Thank
visiting
you.
with us today. We kind of like to start the show every time with asking about people about where they first became aware of death in their journey.
So thank you very much for having me here. I'm very honored. Um, I guess I wanted to reflect on these questions, and the first thing that came to mind was my grandfather in my backyard, showing me kind of the different currents of the wind and the different birds that were around me, and telling me, matter of fact, that when he dies, is going to be a hummingbird.
Hmm.
And I'm around 3 years old,
Hmm.
and I immediately, take this to heart, okay, this is important information,
Mhm.
That's, um in my mind, I didn't really know, I suspected death, it was like, that's something that's around, but nobody talked about it, and
Mhm.
so he was kind of a mystical figure for me and was able to name it when no one else around me was, even mentioning it. So that really landed for me as
Mhm.
okay, this will happen, and that's how I will be able to contact you, or one
Hmm.
of the ways, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Beautiful.
Oh, at 3. Oh,
Yeah.
divinely touched. I really love that.
Yeah. What a wonderful grandfather.
Oh,
Yes, if we I wish we could all be good grandfathers and good grandmothers. So, Lynn, as your life proceeded, can you tell us the thread of how death impacted the story of who you are today and what it brought you to?
yeah, I would say it really, really shaped me, and the death that shaped me, unsurprisingly, was my grandfather's death that happened couple of months after that statement.
Hmm.
So what shaped me about it was that, we had this very deep connection. Like Malidoma Some says, like the bond between grandson or granddaughter and grandfather is very potent because it's kind of like they're both, well, the grandchild just came back from source and the grandfather is going back. So there's like a wise men meeting type of feeling. And I definitely felt that with my grandfather in a way that I didn't feel with anybody else. Like kind of this knowing. And the day before he died, which was very unexpected, he died of a heart attack. And he had been visiting, and I was very upset that he had left, but like overly upset that he had just gone back 3 hours away where he lived. And so later that day, or maybe it was the next day, I was like looking at the clouds, and I felt distinctly the sky was like this meeting point for us, because he was a pilot as well. I felt distinctly like something's wrong, something's happening. He's going, like, he's ascending, or he's not in the physical anymore in that way. And I told my grandma, and I was very, very upset. And she was like, kind of the same way that people talk about dreams to children sometimes, like, it was just, no, like that's just that's just your imagination. And then lo and behold, the next day, they're trying to get a hold of him, and then they end up finding out that he died, and they wait a few days to tell me. And because I was so young, I wasn't like invited to any funeral or anything. So I kind of like stay behind while they go deal with that, like kind of like as a chore, not so much as like a felt ritual. I mean, I also think they were very shocked. But to me, that like was a clear divide between my felt sense of what needed to happen around death, or like the importance of that, and the opening that I felt inside of me in relationship to this passing, and just how not actualized that was in the waking world for at least in that time in my family. So that really shaped me. It it really made me turn over to the world beyond the world and not believe that this waking world was fully real or true.
Right.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Wow.
That's yeah, what a great story. Well, tell us some more about your work now, the dream work that you're doing, and maybe how it relates to, that journey that you've taken. But tell us some stories, basically.
Yeah. So I guess in feeling this disconnect, I turned to my dreams as sources of guidance and as truth, especially because they were so kind of like shunned upon, or like that is not real. And so I was very much suspecting of that and saying, it, how is that not a reality or a way that we connect with the divine?
Right.
And I was raised very like, I call it compulsory atheist. So, it was like wrong to speak about spirit or God, or to think that there was life beyond death, or that, spirit transcended that portal.
Yeah.
And I felt that so deeply because there was a way in which I felt compelled to pray to my grandfather and to be in devotion to his memory and to his teachings, and to know that that could continue.
Yeah.
And I was it was a strong conviction that I had, but very private one as well. So my dreams would often remind me of this, like the realness, the tangibility of that connection, and also hummingbirds. Seeing them around, having them appear in certain moments, and then the world of the symbolic, like tying the dreams with the waking, creating a stronger bridge, and doing little tiny actions, as ridiculous as they may be sometimes, to honor those spaces inside of us or
Yeah.
in a different realm. And yeah, I like the most potent moments that I had growing up were when those two worlds would touch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess I would also want to tell how, because I didn't know him like on a factual level that well, my grandfather, I've been kind of feeling like I've been finding clues on who he was by just living my life and realizing, how joined I really am with his spirit, and the path that I've taken. Then, for example, I've gone to a lot of, I guess, like quests or retreats in relationship to nature, and kind of like I'm a city person, and then I ended up going deep into like nature contemplation, and then my mom reveals to me that your grandfather was like that, you know. Like he used to go
Yeah.
to the Pachamama retreats and come singing the songs, like the kind of Lama Foundation prayer songs and gratitude at the meals, and that was kind of odd in my family, and no one really understood what that was about. And yeah, and also his connection to this area that I find myself in, that I wouldn't have, logically brought myself here, but my dreams really brought me here. And then also, I changed my name when I was around 21 because my dreams gave me this new name. And years later, I see a video, because my parents did a lot of home videos, that is around the time of my last physical encounters with my grandfather, and he calls me by that name.
Wow.
What? What?
I know, it's crazy. I had to like stop the video, and be like, "Wait a second, is how this man
So
works?"
is it Lynn that he called you?
Yeah, Lin.
Wow.
So no one really called me that. So it was very strange to see that connecting back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange and beautiful. Yeah. I love that. I was, when you said the what did you use word for atheist?
Compulsory.
Compulsory atheist. Yeah, yeah. Or fundamentalists. I always think that we have atheists can be fundamentalists. I have friends who are fundamentalist atheists, and basically if everybody else is. What did I think my mother-in-law once said, I thought this person was smart, but it turns out they believe in God.
Oh.
It's like, well, yeah, so that could be a
I think my ex-mother-in-law said the same thing, quite frankly.
yeah, yeah. So that was a great line. Thank you for that. But what
Yes.
great stories. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And we want to, I'd love to hear more about the dream work you're doing. So, but
Yes.
yeah, if there's more stories you want to talk about that, or we can go to our next question too.
For sure, yeah. Well, I guess a lot of my dream work is based on this continuous investigation that I have with myself primarily. So it was the dreams were getting so strong that I realized, can't ignore them anymore. Or I have to give them like a more central place in my life. And how do I go about doing that? And a way that I found was to act on them and to really commit to, even if I didn't know why a dream had come to me, to do like a single action, and sometimes like big actions, like coming to New Mexico was one of them. Yeah, and then also studying birth work, because I was just attending so many births, and even births that I was birthing. And I was just like, I need to learn this. Like, I need to act on this so that it creates that reciprocity with the dream world of like, you're listening. Okay, you're
Oh
listening.
yeah,
Yes.
There's something
Yep.
here.
yeah.
Um
I
Yeah.
love that.
and so I do appreciate being like a forever student. So I'm always trying to learn more and find different ways to do things. And one of those ways has been kind of getting a little bit more out of the analytical into the body.
Yeah.
and acting out scenes from dreams,
Mm.
um, and collaborating with others, knowing that our dreams have also information and messages for others.
Beautiful.
So do you work with folks at the end of life with their dream work?
I haven't yet, but I would love
Oh.
to.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's what I was wondering. That's what I thought you did.
Mhm.
Well, we're gonna get her there.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I was just trying to find this tribe, but years and years ago, about 20 years ago, I read an article about a tribe, and I think I want to say it's like Papua New Guinea, Indonesia area, and
Mhm.
they prioritized languaging dream work as a fundamental aspect of each and every day's human experience.
Mhm.
And so when they get up and they're having breakfast, they always ask the children about their dreams. And also a little kind of strangely hard because if kids don't have dreams, there's something wrong.
Mhm.
Mm.
Like they really encourage that something has to be said. But it's so funny because I think I read that before I had kids. And I have studied Jungian dream work and all kinds of lucid dreaming. I have like dug deep into this as a lifelong learner myself.
Mhm.
And what I realize now is my kids have grown up being asked, like, did you dream? What was a dream about?
Mhm.
What did it make you feel? But I am very curious about the action portion of this because I've never heard this.
Mm.
Mhm. Well, I really consolidated some of my learning about this from my teacher, Robert Moss.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
yeah,
think
you
I've
know,
taken a class with Robert Mars about daily tarot.
oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
He's very big on synchronicity and
Yes.
finding, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, um, by my dreams really is how I met him for the first time, and then found him online, and I was like, this is the guy from my dreams.
Mhm.
He's an amazing dream historian and just, yeah, incredible teacher. Um and I've really taken to heart this idea that, like, the reciprocity piece with the dreams, like, just letting them know that you're listening in a tangible
Mhm.
way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Say, you dream with a color and then you decide to wear it, or
Mhm.
you have like a poem in your mind or in your tongue, as I like to say, when you wake up, and then
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
write it down and put it in a sticky note, in your planner. Um,
Mhm.
things like that that just create more, like a stronger of a web,
Mhm.
and just more of a dialogue around certain themes in your
Mhm.
life, as
Mhm.
well as, for example, like asking questions, writing down a question before you
Yeah.
fall asleep, and then
Yep.
committing to act on whatever messages.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I do think that has been pretty life changing to me, because sometimes I can get, you know behind on my
And a
dreams. Like,
dream.
they're just like, oh, I saw this, all this, and I
Yep.
don't know which action to take. But
Yes.
I've
Okay.
found that the smallest, action, yeah, to me
Okay.
is the most sustainable. Yeah.
Well, I will tie this back to, end of life because I have been with people who either have, I mean, I guess the industrial medical industry calls this hallucinations, but I feel like it's like liminal spaces that are
Mhm.
kind of dream world like. And folks at the end of life sometimes talk about seeing ancestors or seeing certain things that are not in the space. And people are like, oh, it's just a hallucination. They're just, whatever. But I feel like it's almost like our human brain force us into a dream state
Mm.
to open up that portal into our new birth, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love the idea of practicing. Like I like to practice leaving my body if I get, killed.
Mhm.
I walk down the street and pretend I got hit by a bus and like, what does it feel like to just release, right? And so, it's just like dreams. How do we uh make offerings to them and acknowledge that their presence is very real and so incredibly important to our own human experience? So,
Yeah.
Lynn, I kind of
Yeah.
dig this.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It's really about setting that intention and making that a part of your life every day. Just
That's
as,
right.
because it is a good part of our lives is spent sleeping and dreaming, and
Yeah.
to ignore that or leave it alone, or,
Or to diminish it.
yeah, just to pay attention to it is. I love
Mhm.
that. I've heard that too, of indigenous tribes who wake up in the morning and sit in a circle and tell each other their dreams.
Mhm.
And we don't do that as much in this crazy culture where we have to run out and feed the cat. But
Although I will say, I have a friend every single morning we text each other,
Huh.
and it's the same thing. "How are you doing? How was your sleep? Did you dream?" And we
Mhm.
always, like, share dreams. So I was been thinking about it. I need to go back and, like, grab all my dreams that I've written down, and then my daughter will wake up and I'll say like, "Hey, so tell me your dreams."
Yeah, good, good. Yeah, it's a good way to set that intention and make that part of our lives. So thank you, Lynn,
Yeah.
for reminding us about that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I do think that death and dreaming is very connected. I mean, also sleeping, like just
Mhm.
the act of surrendering it
Yeah.
into a different
Mhm.
state. And I think there's many, many cultures that have priced dreaming for that reason of
Mhm.
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
we are not just this,
Right, the
That's
corporal.
Yeah. And
Right.
Yeah.
so it's really incredible, and also lucid dreaming, just the feeling of being able to be awake to that reality.
Yes. Ugh, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's interesting because I took this was like 24 years ago. I was taking a class and it was kind of a biblical, it was through a church, but they were trying to open up this like conversation around dream work and Christianity.
Mm,
And it did more than that. It was an excellent class that I took. And I remember the initial time we spent was talking about how early on dream work was one of the ways that God, the divine Yahweh, spoke to people.
Mhm.
But when one of the translations, I think it was the same James, he had not been happy with his dreams and had a lot of nightmares. And so he discounted dream work as a potential avenue for God to speak to them.
Mm.
mm,
So he actually did not put that in the
Oh,
Bible.
interesting.
And so, I don't I never had, I never chose to go and research it and see if it showed up in the Aramaic Bible as dreaming is,
Mm.
a conversation with the divine source. And I don't discount that somebody had a bad dream and decided that's gotta be from the devil because, that's kind of like it's all this intuitiveness that has sparked the fear of, the Old Testament, like divination and, you know, trying to figure stuff out. Dreams
yeah.
are trying to divine what is going on, right?
Mm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think everybody has different dreaming talents.
Mm.
Like I
Mhm.
know a lot of people, including my dad, who are very gifted at just like the dead come to them.
Mm.
Mhm.
They just like knock on the dream door every single night. It's like, I need
Hey.
to tell you something. I need to,
Oh, it's great.
repair something here or some warning.
Mhm.
And some people are like really frequent flyers or,
Mhm.
shapeshifters or
Mm. Mhm.
Mhm.
so I do think we all have our own ways that we are and express and have learned to navigate that world as well. And
Mhm.
um yeah, sometimes it can be overwhelming and we need to have like, some intentionality, some protection in place
Mhm.
and also trust, in that they are ultimately like for our own good, even if it's a
Mhm.
quote unquote bad dream, like there's something
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah. So you're working with people on their dreams. I assume that's part of your work.
Yeah.
How does that look when you're working with somebody? What are the kind of process you go through with people to understand and help them understand their dreams?
Well, we, create a space in which the dream world feels safe to be recognized and honored.
Mhm.
And it's, I work both one on one and also in a group. And we kind of help the dream feel courted
Hmm.
enough to
Mhm.
come out and not like tell me what this is about, you know.
Right, right.
So by, the senses and questions that are kind of geared to surround the dream, we start opening up the field of what that could be, and holding multiple perspectives at
Mhm,
once
mhm.
of that. So in a way, expanding and letting it, breathe more.
Yeah.
Um, and then also trying to find a creative action that the person can take in their daily lives, or making some art in the moment, whether it's with the body, or painting, drawing, writing, um, weaving. I think is also very
Mm,
magical to do with dreams.
mhm.
So I'm very interested in this intersection also with theater, and that's
Yeah,
what I do more in a group. We like explore, the liminal
Oh,
space of
yeah.
the stage
yeah.
and bring in dream work there.
Nice. Really nice.
Wakil, do you remember we did this in seminary?
Mhm. Yeah, I was
Remember
thinking about that.
yeah, we had dream work as a collective
Mhm.
that somebody got to pick their dream, and then we all were theater parts to that dream.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That was fun.
powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been doing, with my wife some interplay, which is it's kind of a way of, improvising music, dance, movement, storytelling, which I've had that come up where people say, "Well, this is a dream I've had. Let's play this together. Let's do this together." So I love that you're bringing that in as a way to just like allow ourselves to just be really to allow our creativity to honor the work that our dreams are doing for us. That's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lynn, have you
Yeah.
ever heard of Tokopa?
Yes, actually,
I've
I've taken some
taken 2
classes.
of her classes.
Yay. I love her
Tokopa.
dancing with the dream method of just like
Yeah.
honing in the sensations that a dream is
Yes.
bringing, and
Yes.
acting from
And I think
those.
that's what I have leaned into when, my kids tell me, like, they had a hard dream, and I'll get all the details, but then I'll ask them, "Where on your body does it feel like it's
Mhm.
kind of moving or stuck?" And they'll usually stop and tell me, and then we just, like, try to, like, give it attend to it,
Yeah.
and, "What do you need? I'm here watching you. I'm here looking at you. We're here in community." So, yeah, Tokopa was, another one that I've just
Hmm.
God, I can't believe I've taken so many dream classes. I love dreaming. I love dreaming. I've been a lifelong insomniac, and in spite of that, I have always had a very active dream. I have journals here from and those I haven't put away, Wakil. All my dream journals have not been burned, but
Okay.
I keep my dream journals because I feel like there have been some that have been premonitions or prescient,
Mhm, mhm.
and I
Yeah.
see and when it's happened to me, I'm like, "That dream happened to me. I'm gonna go read it again."
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
I can see that. So,
That's cool.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of really cool things with dreams.
Yeah, yeah. What a great conversation to have, yeah.
I also wanted to say that, in response to what you brought before, Ana Luisa, the state before dying, or active
Mhm.
dying, that people, report, or what people say is hallucinations. I do think that it would be really amazing to do dream work in that, or like, have those visions be honored
Yes.
Mhm.
by your community, your family,
Yes.
and also maybe establish some places of where to meet in the,
Mm,
Yeah.
in the liminal with your loved ones. I think
Yes.
it's a great time to kind of establish some
That's a
meeting
great
ground.
idea, actually. And,
yeah.
it comes to mind, maybe about 8 months ago, I started working with I do spiritual direction work as well, and someone came to me and didn't really want spiritual direction in kind of the ways Wakil and I work. Yet, he really did wanna talk about his dreams,
Hmm.
and he was an elderly man, and he started telling me all these things that had happened. He's like, "I've never told anybody these things, but I feel like there were some mystical occurrences that happened in my life, and I was always too ashamed to, like, share these because people" he's like, "The few times I told my wife, she thought I was nuts."
Yeah.
And so but what we did for 3 of those sessions is we just talked about his dreams and who was showing up and how his clothes he's like, "I used to feel like my clothes were only half, like, like they weren't ironed or they weren't buttoned up. And he's like, I'm seeing myself robed with things that are like really well put together.
Mm.
And in his head, in his process, he was like, I'm getting close to leaving. Like I can sense that. And it was really wonderful to talk to him. So yes, you're right. It is this goes back to our ghost conversation, Joaquil,
Right.
that, how to start talking about death is like, hey, if you come back as a ghost, how do you think you want to attract my attention?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you can come back as a dream, what will be the poem that will come from this visual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like how will I recognize you?
Yeah.
I'm going to start writing about those because I think that is very interesting.
Yeah, it's great. You inspired us, as always.
Yes, thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we always want to find out about what challenges you in that work as far as when you're working with people. Is there anything that that is hard, that's difficult, or that are challenges that come up?
Yeah, I think that when there's very challenging dreams that are confronting about the scary things or the things that people are scared of and that
Right.
are like I don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
That can be challenging because you maybe can like sometimes hold it in a sacred space and then what happens? So sometimes that in a way can get dropped in their lives, I find. I mean in my life too, when I'm like in touch with something really potent and intense, it's hard to feel like I can take that through my mundane life or that can come with me even though it's with me still. So there's something about the bridge, the integration that to me has like the scenic obstacle, what's what I call the scenic obstacle of the limitation, right? Of time coming in, of mortality and our physical bodies and the ways that we maybe can't hold like all the perspectives at once sometimes. So I think it's challenging, but I do love the challenge and I do like to kind of touch the edges of that a little bit.
It's like living in the paradox. It's
Yeah.
the cotidiano and the un you don't know how to speak
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
The mystery. Yeah. And
Accepting
also like putting words to putting words to memory, putting words to dream. Can sometimes feel like I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm touching here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a challenge for all of us. Mystics can't have a hard time because our whole way of being is that we don't know anything and we can't possibly speak about it, but then we just spend all our
Right.
time trying to explain it to each other.
Yeah, you know how I feel about language and yeah.
So dreams are similar in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what frightens you about the end of life?
So many things. One of them, I think maybe the most potent one to me is like not being able to complete a story or not feeling like the completion, you know?
Yeah.
And also there's that like curiosity about like, well, things like don't depend on me to be completed. Like they do complete on their own,
Yeah.
in time at least. And so yeah, there's that feeling of like, will I do everything that I wanted to do? Obviously not. But like, will I feel satisfied? I guess yeah, the satisfaction, like feeling that piece of like, oh, I forgot about the most important thing.
They're all important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. We've heard that too. I think part of it, some people, it's about leaving a legacy or having something to. But I think a lot of people like what it seems like more what you're saying is just there's so much we want to do. There's so much we want to share and so much we want to give, and maybe we won't get to do it, but every seed we sow is a piece of that. So yeah, that's beautiful.
I actually want to add something else that for some reason it's related. My dad used to tell me the story of like this man who's in his deathbed and he's trying to tell his son, something, but he can't get the words out. He's like, I need to tell you that, I need to and he just can never finish a sentence, basically. And what I found that was like a big cosmic joke was that my grandfather on his side, so his dad, they literally had that same experience, but like, way later than this story was told. So just reckoning with that, like, oh, maybe like I won't be able to say goodbye in the way that I wanted, or like remind someone what so it's so unknown. The conditions around one's death can be so different one from each other. So it's hard to, plan, I guess.
We can't plan. Let me tell you, as somebody who likes to plan and is foiled daily.
Yeah. We work every day to try to plan, and then it all falls apart. There's a joke, that God laughs when he sees you planning things, right? It's a good way to make God laugh.
Well, and with Joaquin and myself, it's like we always tell people, say the I love yous every day. You don't know.
Yeah.
And I want them to know.
Yeah.
So.
And we were talking earlier about the legacy, the love letters, right? The legacy will or the love letters, where you make a point at some point, if you can find the time to write a letter to the beloveds and tell them what you would like them to hear in case you don't get a chance to say it in person. So, yeah.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I think I also fear other people's management of my death.
Oh,
also,
100%.
Talking about that, I'm like, ooh, that can get me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Lynn, advanced care directive plan. You need one.
I do need to do that.
Well, you got two very good experts here. Call Ana Luisa; she can help you.
We'll do a trade. I'll help you organize your advanced care directive plan if you sit with me and do some dream work with me.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a really nice trade. Yeah, really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Last question? Or no,
there's
still more.
Yeah. Do you what do you have that? How do you resource yourself when you're feeling overwhelmed by, like you get this work that you're doing, you're really feeling like you said, sometimes it seems like you've got more than you can possibly get to, you've piled up all the dreams. What do you do to just resource yourself, to bring yourself back to center and balance?
So for me, something that I keep discovering over and over again is the power of laughing and the power of the ridicule, especially the ridicule. Just can get me like out of my thinking mind.
Power of ridicule.
The power of ridicule. Yeah, for real. Like just ridiculing who I think I am, ridiculing like a character that comes up as like annoying for me, and that kind of embodiment and spontaneous improvisation is it's really a lifesaver for me.
That's a great idea.
I like that. Yeah.
I love that. Can you give us an example?
Well, I could tell you that recently I went to this party that we had to dress up as emotions, as adult emotions.
Adult emotions, okay.
And I dressed up as imposter syndrome.
Oh.
And I was really, really just in that of like, am I doing this right? Like,
who am I to do
just
this?
the mask, how uncomfortable that mask can be sometimes, and wanting to break it open. But just being with like the limitation of just be imposter syndrome, nothing else.
Wow.
Only imposter syndrome. Like it really helped me alchemize some of what was gold in there for me.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great
I
example.
really do too.
Might be
because I don't do self-ridicule. I do self-castigation. Like, why didn't you? Why couldn't you have? You should have.
Yeah, I think switching it, that's a good idea.
I know. I think I might have to switch the language I'm using for myself.
Or you could just amp up that self-castigation to the point of ridicule.
Uh-huh.
To the point where it's just like,
eres una tonta. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Dónde andas?
Yeah, just like amp it up and then give it a constraint. We're doing this for 5 minutes, full blast.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see what this is like. This will probably help my poetry.
Great advice for everybody. That's great. Wow.
Yeah.
What a treasure. Yeah, well, we're getting close to the end here, and we always like to give you a chance if there's anything left that we didn't ask you that you'd like to share with us. Do you want to finish with?
I guess we didn't talk much about my connection to birth work. And
Yeah.
I really it's kind of the area of my life that right now relates the most to death and dying.
Hmm.
I visit a lot of families in their early moments of parenting and just see how much that can feel like a death also to them,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
and like a complete rebirth. And so that's really come out of my dreams, and it has helped me integrate a little more of like the space of birth, the space of death. Like, how are those
It's your
not talked about
midwifing. Yep.
together more?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
They belong
they
together for sure.
they
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really do.
There are so many parallels to birth and death, and Joaquin and I always come up with a gentleman we interviewed who talked about language.
Hmm.
Language acquisition goes up from birth to, let's say, their formative years of 9, and then at the end of life, their language starts going down. It gets to be like very truncated, and there's that the language is a similarity. We become feeble and cared for and swaddled, like
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
child who needs to be swaddled. So there are so many similarities.
Yeah.
They need warmth. I mean, it's the fact that our the construct is to fear death is just beyond
Well,
me.
and also the idea that that somebody's giving birth, they're coming into a whole new chapter of their life. They're
Mhm.
losing, they've lost, and they maybe are
Mhm.
grieving the loss of
Mhm.
child, but being on their own, not having to take care of a kid.
That's
That
right.
changes. That's a huge change, and it really is. Any we talked a lot about every different change in our lives as a
Mhm.
loss. Every breath is can be a loss,
Mhm.
but that's I love that you're
Making those
holding that,
parallels.
yeah, holding that in
Mhm.
your work and birth work. So, yeah, it
Yeah.
totally goes together. Yeah, thank you. I was just looking at, yeah, I don't want to interrupt too if there's more. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No,
Because
I think that was something that came through right now.
yeah, perfect. You've got a really wonderful set of quotes that I love. Um,
I feel like we should do the lemony snicket, though.
yeah, we should definitely do that. But then we could also do Robert Moss since that's one of the ones we
Oh, I
mentioned
do
here.
like
And
yeah.
then we also have the one in Espanol. So I think maybe we should do all of them. How about since I'm the one person who doesn't speak Spanish, I won't, or just fluent with Spanish, I won't do that part. But maybe I'll do the Robert Moss. And do
Okay,
you want to do Lemony Snicket and let Lynn do the Spanish?
sure.
Okay. All
Lynn, do you
right.
have it with you?
Yes, it was just the last bit of the song. So
Okay.
I
Okay,
have it.
perfect. You could even sing it if you want.
All right. So I will start with lemony snicket, and then we'll just go in the order that they're in. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everyone at some point in their lives wakes up in the middle of the night with a feeling that they are all alone in the world, and that nobody loves them now, and that nobody will ever love them, and that they will never have a decent night's sleep again, and will spend their lives wandering blearily around a loveless landscape, hoping desperately that their circumstance will improve, but suspecting in their heart of hearts that they will remain unloved forever. The best thing to do in these circumstances is to wake somebody else up so that they can feel this way too. I have to tell you, speaking of grieving and childbirth, I read all the Lemony Snicket series while pregnant with my daughter.
Wow.
Yes, and it depressed the shit out of me. I was like, "Who are these people that don't take care of these babies?" So, but it's true, like, that angst, and
Yeah,
so
yeah. I
I
thought that was actually a good one for you.
it is a perfect one because I wake up like that sometimes, but
Yeah, yeah.
I wake up my dog. Anyhow,
All right.
carry on.
Carry
Let's
on,
be
yes.
enlightened with Robert Moss.
And Robert Moss, we mentioned him earlier. We'll put a link to his work in the uh, podcast notes. But Robert Moss says, dreams are a part of our human survival kit, part of what has kept us going and evolving on this planet. Across history, most people have valued dreaming for two reasons, beyond all others, because dreams enable us to see into the possible future, and because they put us in touch with sources of knowledge and wisdom beyond the ordinary mind. And that's from
Hear,
The
hear.
Secret History of Dreaming by Robert
I
Moss.
love Robert Moss. Very
It's a
lovely.
beautiful book.
Yeah.
Secret History.
And then Lynn will either sing or tell us the words to the song Nuestro Juramento.
So yes, this is Nuestro Juramento by Julio Jaramillo. I love the song, the version of Los Cantores del Alba. And this is the last verse. It says, si tú mueres primero, yo te prometo, escribiré la historia de nuestro amor. Con toda el alma llena de sentimiento, la escribiré con sangre, con tinta sangre del corazón. Which,
It sounds so Mexican.
Yeah.
which it really, to me, gives this feeling of how we love across time and space and across dimensions, and that we, by telling our stories of love with those that have departed, we are also making that bond stronger.
Yeah. Do you want to say the English translation for all of us?
So it basically says, if I die first, I promise you that I will write the story of our love.
Mm-hmm.
With all my soul full of sentiment and feeling, I will write it with blood, with ink, blood from the heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful.
Very beautiful. Very Mexican.
Yeah.
Get that my
Get that
blood,
heart blood
out of my heart and write
Corazon.
down.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much. It's really been a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Lynn. Yes, it has.
And we really enjoyed, and we've learned a lot. And as always, we're thrilled to have spent time with you. So we will say goodbye now, and we'll let you know when this goes live. So
thank you, Lynn.
Thank you so
Adios.
much.
take care.
Adios.
That was a like a breath of fresh air in the death world for me.
Yeah.
You know, a new kind of ideas kind of sprouting, and I was delighted by her.
Yeah, I love that we're in a way stretching out a little bit, not just talking to deaf people, right? Or deaf workers, but that's true. But also just the inspiration that I got and from it, and I hope the audience got, and I'm sure we get from just to really start paying attention. And I love the idea of acting on your dreams, like getting people together to say, let's do this, let's do a little play about this, or let's improvise something, some music or some creativity, some writing, some art around what just came, or where are the colors that you saw in your dream, or what a wonderful
I do like the action, right? I don't want to necessarily do improv around it, because that requires a lot of people
it's
coming
a lot
together.
of work.
Yeah, a
But
lot
you
of
could
work.
do your own. You could do your own.
But what I do appreciate is that call to action, and so that the dream knows that you know, and you're going to be holding it in awareness and sweetness.
Yeah.
I learned so much, and for the listeners, like, how is this related to death? I think this is part of that warp and weft of living on a daily, and how we meet with each other and how we hold each other in these sacred spaces, because it's the mystery.
Yeah.
Just like death, just like coming into this world, it's a mystery.
There's not more of a liminal space and getting toward the end of life. And this is talking about the liminal space we live, the death we had to go through every night. Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Always a delight. Adios.
Adios.
Conversations about the end of life.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to Charles Heaston, the composer of the original music you are listening to now.
And of course, thanks to you, our audience, and all of our amazing guests. Please come back next week for another great episode. Share this with your friends, family, and community. We hope you will subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Substack. Each guest's additional information will be found in the podcast notes. And of course, if you have a good end-of-life story to share, please reach out. We are always eager to hear from you.